She pulls away. The texts grow shorter. The warmth you once felt in her voice is replaced by something distant, almost formal. She cancels plans. She says she needs space. And in that moment, something ancient and primal awakens inside you. Your heart pounds. Your mind races through every conversation, every word, every glance, searching for where it all went wrong. The urge to reach out, to fix it, to chase her and prove your worth becomes almost unbearable. This is the moment that separates men from boys. This is the test. Women test men unconsciously, repeatedly and randomly to ensure the stability and strength of the man they are with. It is rarely a conscious decision. More often, it is a built-in psychological mechanism, a way for her to gauge your resolve and discover what you are truly made of. Some women don't even realize they are doing it, and the primary way they conduct this test is through pulling away. They push buttons, create distance, and withdraw their attention, not because they want to end things, but because they need to see how you will respond. Will you crumble? Will you panic? Will you beg, plead, and chase after her like a lost puppy? Or will you remain steady, grounded, and unmoved? The more attracted a woman feels to a man, the more she will test him to see if he is congruent with what she believes he is. Your response to her retreat reveals everything she needs to know about your emotional stability, your self-worth, and whether you are a man she can trust to lead. Most men fail this test. They fail it spectacularly. The moment she pulls away, they panic and chase harder. They send long, emotional texts. They ask what they did wrong. They over-explain, over-apologize, and over-invest. They try to close the distance she just created, not realizing that this very act confirms her deepest fear, that he is emotionally dependent on her, that his sense of self-worth rises and falls with her attention. When you get angry and yell back, walk away, or blubber apologies, you fail the test. You prove that you are not the rock she needs you to be. Women want a strong man, not a nice guy. They are biologically designed to seek love and leadership. A weak man is a man who has no backbone, no principles, no ability to stand up for himself. And a woman will subconsciously test a man she doesn't know to ensure that she won't end up with such a creature. She needs to know that the person she is investing her heart in can withstand the inevitable storms of life without falling apart. If you fail her test by reacting with neediness, desperation, or anger, you signal that you are not that person. She may still like you. She may still care about you. But she will never fully respect you. She will see you as someone who needs her validation to feel whole, and that neediness, no matter how well-intentioned, will slowly erode the attraction she once felt. What does a woman want to see when she pulls away? She wants to see a man who is unshaken. She wants to see emotional stability and strength. Women want a man who can stay calm amid the storm. They are emotional creatures, and they test men to see how they respond to their emotions. If you can remain grounded in the face of her withdrawal, something shifts inside her. She feels safe. She feels secure. She feels that she has found a man who can handle her, who can handle the relationship, who can handle the challenges that life will inevitably bring. This is what she is searching for. Emotionally stable individuals tend to be secure, confident, and even-tempered. They are not overreactive and generally maintain a positive demeanor. And in a relationship, emotional stability may be the most important trait for long-term success. When you remain calm as she retreats, you are communicating something far more powerful than words ever could. You are saying, without saying a word, I am complete with or without you. I am not afraid of losing you because I know my own worth. My peace does not depend on your presence. That energy is magnetic. It is the energy of a man who does not chase but attracts. It is the energy that commands respect and deepens desire. The Stoic philosophers understood this truth thousands of years ago. One of Stoicism's core teachings is to separate what is within your control from what is not. You cannot control why she pulls away. You cannot control whether she will come back. You cannot control her emotions, her thoughts, or her decisions. But you can control your reaction. Instead of spiraling into self-doubt or endless speculation, remind yourself that her actions are about her, not you. Letting go of what is outside your influence frees you to focus on your own well-being. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, taught that if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself but to your estimate of it. When she pulls away, the event itself is neutral. It is your interpretation of that event, your story about what it means, that causes the suffering. She is pulling away because she is testing you. She is pulling away because she is confused. She is pulling away because she is scared of her own feelings. Or perhaps she is simply pulling away because she is not the right woman for you. The point is that you do not know. And the Stoic response is to accept that uncertainty with grace. You do not need to know why. You do not need to understand her. You only need to focus on what you can control, which is your own emotional state, your own actions, and your own integrity. In this case, you cannot control why someone pulls away or whether they will reach out again. But you can decide how you will respond. And the way you respond will either build respect or destroy it. Practicing negative visualization, a Stoic technique, can be invaluable in these situations. The Stoics believed in preparing for life's disappointments. By imagining less than ideal outcomes ahead of time, you are less shaken when they happen. Before you invest deeply in a connection, remind yourself that it might not work out, and that is okay. It does not mean you should not enjoy the good moments, but it prepares you for the possibility of distance or even loss. When you embrace uncertainty as part of life, these moments become less shocking and more manageable. You stop reacting from a place of fear and start responding from a place of strength. This is not pessimism. This is wisdom. This is the recognition that the only thing you truly own is your own character, and that nothing external can ever diminish it. The Stoic inner citadel is the fortress of your own mind, a place where external events cannot reach you. It is the unshakable sense of self that does not depend on her validation. When you have built this inner citadel, her withdrawal does not threaten your sense of worth. You do not need her attention to feel whole. You do not need her approval to feel valuable. You are complete in yourself, and that completeness is what makes you attractive. A man who is a slave to his emotions, who is ruled by his need for her validation, is not free. He is a prisoner of his own desire. But a man who has mastered his emotions, who can hold his ground when she retreats, is a man who is truly free. He is a man who can lead. And leadership, as the Stoics understood, is not about control. It is about presence. It is about being the calm in the center of the storm. When she pulls away, she is looking for that calm. She is looking for the man who will not be thrown off balance by her emotions. She is looking for the man who can be her anchor. When you refuse to chase her, something powerful happens in her psychology. She begins to experience a transformation. Your silence forces her to reflect on her own value and the way she treats you. She starts to wonder. She starts to question. She starts to reevaluate. The distance you create triggers a psychological vacuum that she is compelled to fill. Suddenly, you are no longer the man who is always available. You are no longer a commodity. You become a luxury. And humans value what is rare. Your absence creates space for her to miss you, to think about you, to realize what she might be losing. This is not manipulation. This is the natural law of attraction. The more you chase, the more you push her away. The more you pull back, the more she is drawn to you. The paradox of desire is that it grows in the presence of uncertainty and shrinks in the presence of certainty. When you are always there, always available, always predictable, the mystery dies. But when you create space, when you show her that you are not afraid to walk away, the mystery returns. And with it, the attraction. Epictetus, the great Stoic teacher, wrote that a man must learn an art with respect to giving his assent. In other words, you must learn when to say yes and when to say no, not just to others, but to your own impulses. When she pulls away, your impulse is to chase. That is the voice of fear. That is the voice of neediness. But the Stoic man does not follow his impulses blindly. He observes them, he acknowledges them, and then he chooses a different path. He chooses the path of self-respect. He chooses the path of emotional sovereignty. He does not give his power away to her whims. He holds his ground. He stays true to his word. He treats her like an adult and expects her to act like one. When your girlfriend flirts openly with other men in your presence, or when she feigns disinterest to make you work for it, or when she storms off waiting for you to chase her, you will know she is testing you. The best thing to do is to show a low tolerance for passive-aggressive behaviors like the silent treatment. If you tell her you will only ask once and she refuses to speak, stay true to your word. Have the guts to call her out on her negative or unattractive behavior, and she will respect you for it. This is not about being cruel. It is about being clear. It is about setting boundaries that protect your dignity and your peace. She is not trying to hurt you. She is trying to find out if you can be hurt. She is testing your emotional structure, your foundation. She wants to know if you are a man who can be shaken. When you remain steady, you pass the test. You show her that you are not like the other men who would beg, plead, and abandon their own self-respect for a crumb of her attention. You show her that you are a man of principles, a man with a backbone, a man who knows his worth. And that is the kind of man she can trust. That is the kind of man she can respect. That is the kind of man she can desire. This is the deeper truth that the Stoics understood. True attraction is not built in the space you occupy, but in the space you create. When you pull back, you create a space for her to step into. You create a vacuum that she feels compelled to fill. You stop being a man who is chasing and become a man who is leading. You stop trying to impress and start being present. You stop needing her validation and start offering your presence. And in that shift, everything changes. She sees you differently. She feels you differently. She responds to you differently. The woman who was pulling away begins to lean in. The woman who was distant begins to draw near. The woman who was testing you begins to respect you. Your silence, your calm, your unshakable presence, these are the things that make her reconsider. They are the things that make her realize that you are not a man she can afford to lose. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, wrote that difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Her withdrawal is not a punishment. It is an opportunity. It is a chance for you to grow stronger. It is a chance for you to deepen your own self-mastery. Instead of fixating on the loss, ask yourself what you can learn about yourself from this experience. Ask yourself how you can better recognize emotional maturity in future connections. Every experience, even painful ones, offers a chance to grow. When you view her pulling away as a lesson rather than a rejection, you reclaim your power. You stop being a victim of her behavior and start being the architect of your own emotional life. You stop wasting energy on someone who is not ready for what you have to offer and start redirecting that energy toward your own growth, your own purpose, your own life. The Stoics believed in channeling energy into productive and meaningful actions. Instead of rereading old texts or overanalyzing the silence, focus on things that bring you joy and purpose. Spend time with people who do show up for you. Dive into a hobby or a passion project. Take a moment to care for yourself, reminding yourself that you deserve love and respect. Every time you redirect your energy, you reclaim a little more of your power. In the end, the most important thing is not whether she comes back. The most important thing is that you do not lose yourself in the process. Your peace of mind is too valuable to give away to someone else's lack of communication. You cannot control whether she returns. You cannot control how she feels. You cannot control the outcome. But you can control how you show up. You can control your own integrity. You can control your own self-respect. You can control the kind of man you become. And when you focus on that, when you commit to becoming the strongest, most grounded version of yourself, you become magnetic in a way that no amount of chasing could ever achieve. The right person does not need you to chase them. The right person will recognize your value and will meet you where you are. The right person will not make you beg for their attention. The right person will give it freely because they see you for who you are. The next time she pulls away, do not panic. Do not chase. Do not beg. Do not send long, emotional texts. Instead, take a breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Remind yourself that your worth is not defined by her attention. And then, with calm and clarity, go about your life. Build your purpose. Strengthen your body. Sharpen your mind. Deepen your friendships. Create something meaningful. Be the man who is so complete, so grounded, so full of his own life that her presence is a gift, not a necessity. And when she sees that, when she feels that, she will not be able to stay away. Because the most attractive thing in the world is a man who is at home in his own skin, a man who is unshakable, a man who is free. That is the Stoic way. That is the path to true attraction. That is the path to lasting respect.